I'm going to share something that really completely shifted both my husband and my life, and that's the Daniel's fast. I'm going to share some shocking results and what happened to us spiritually and also physically. I'm going to share 2 foods that we ate almost every single day that kept us full and satisfied, and 5 tips that you're going to want to know if you start the Daniel fast. So stay tuned for more details. Did you know that the Bible says when we fast, not if we fast? That means it's really significant and assuming that we're going to fast. And actually, the Bible talks about fasting at least 70 times, and it's listed in both the Old and the New Testament. When I share with people that I did the Daniel fast, they automatically think that it's a water-only fast because that's the only type of fasting that they ever knew about. There's actually at least 3 different main types of fasting. One is a water-only fast. Another is a no water and no food fast. And the third category is where we see restrictive eating. And that's where the Daniel fast falls. It is about not eating certain foods for a set amount of time as you're praying and really dedicating your life to the Lord. And I know for me, when I felt led to do the Daniel fast, I was overwhelmed. I knew a little bit about the fast. So I was like, wow, that seems like there's so many rules. How on earth can I follow it? But fasting, first and foremost, is about dedicating time and your body to the Lord. So I want to say right up front, don't get caught up in the rules of fasting. I'm going to talk a little bit about it, but don't get caught up in that. It's all about God. Let's talk a little bit about Daniel. He did 2 different types of fasts. The first one is found in Daniel 1, and that's where he only ate vegetables and water for 10 days. And a little bit about that. He didn't want to defile his body with the king's choice foods. So that time of 10 days with vegetables and water, he was praying for strength and for the Lord to show up in the situation. And of course, the Lord did. And he was really incredibly strong and it impressed the king. The second fast is found in Daniel 10. And this fast was a 21-day fast. Let me read Daniel 10, verses 2 and 3. When this vision came to me, I, Daniel, had been in mourning for 3 whole weeks. At that time, I had eaten no rich food, no meat or wine crossed my lips, and I used no fragrant lotions until those 3 weeks had passed. And for both fasts, Daniel focused on prayer. That was his key point. And he is also sacrificing his body and his desires to eat. And one key thing that Daniel had said back in Daniel 1 was that he made up his mind. That means it wasn't easy for him, but he knew that it was going to be important to set aside time and pray and fast. So why did I do the Daniel fast? Well, truly, I felt led to do the Daniel fast way too long ago. I had way too much thoughts that this was going to be so overwhelming, so I wasn't obedient. But when I made up my mind, I put a date on the calendar and I said, okay, I'm starting this fast come whatever the date was. But when I made up my mind, just like Daniel did, and I put a date on the calendar, things started to fall into place. And I just I'm going to figure it out as I go along. I can do this. The Lord is with me. This is important because he called me to do this fast. I wasn't sure what the Lord's purpose was for me to do this fast. I thought, I don't know. Maybe it's spiritual. Maybe it's physical. Maybe it's both. And I was just going to sit every single day and write in my journal and see what the Lord had said. Make sure you have a journal. Keep track because 21 days is a long time. And I sure forgot. If I had written it down, what I have learned from the Lord on day 1 compared to day 21. I also kept some notes on my health in there too. But before we started the fast, we had many weeks where we had both of our kids home, which was wonderful. We have adult children. We went out to eat way too much, ate way too many sweets. So we were kind of off the rails on your health. So we were starting with a whole lot of sugar sitting in our body when we started this fast. And I'm going to say, made it extra challenging. And what I really found is when the body is fighting, that's when you really need to pray. And hallelujah. It is so great to have the Bible as the rock and the foundation for what to do and how to do it. Some key things for us, really helpful. We did planning. I only started planning really 2 days in advance. I went grocery shopping, and the day before I made up a whole bunch of brown rice and a whole lot of beans. I'll say this one thing, that there's a book the Daniel Fast by a nut reader. I'll put a link below. That was helpful because there were some great recipes in there. And there was also a devotional, which led to a verse most days. And then I would sit and meditate on it and say, Lord, what are you wanting to show me with this verse today for where I'm at? So I would say, powerful, great resource to grow. I do have to say on the physical side, because I had so much sugar sitting in my body from those weeks of indulgent with my boys, those first 4 days, I had cravings every single day after lunch. I just wanted one little piece of chocolate, just one little piece. But I resisted. And that is when I just had to go and sit and pray and give it to the Lord. And really, within just a few minutes, the cravings went away until the next day. And then the really cool thing is they went away. I didn't crave any sugar or any chocolate after those first 4 days. The amazing thing is science tells us that our gut heals itself every 3 to 5 days. So if we are continuing to eat sugar and bad foods, it's going to continue to crave those bad foods like it did in my case. But once you give your body healthy, whole foods, your gut is saying, wow, thank you. And it starts to crave the good, healthy foods, and you're not craving the bad foods anymore. And don't give up, because if your body's craving and doing all this resistance, your gut is healing. You are going to get through. You're going to be better. I will also say that first week was challenging. Though after every meal, I was full. Between lunch and dinner, I was pretty hungry. And it was kind of crazy how hungry I was between lunch and dinner. Sometimes we ate dinner at 4:30 because I just couldn't even wait till 5. But then after I ate dinner, I was fine until the next day. With my body resetting, I think it was a little mind over matter there. A little food insight. For us, we had a very simple breakfast, probably 19 into 21 days. We had either raw oats with toppings that I'll go into, or I cooked the oats up and made oatmeal. So the raw oats, considered muesli. That was really great for my husband, who's at work, so he didn't have to eat anything up. But here is a lovely, wonderful dish where we had oatmeal. And on top of it, I put nuts. Buried the nuts every day, added some chia seeds, super important. And I noticed when I forgot, because there's great fiber and protein in them. And love to add some raisins and some coconut on top. So delicious. I put homemade almond milk on top. Kept us full until lunch. And I know that is super key into why we felt so great, because it had just amazing whole, not processed food. Daily, the Lord highlighted scriptures to me. I'm going to share 3 with you right now. One was Galatians 5:22, which talked about the fruit of the Spirit. And in there, talks about self-control. It's super key. Having self-control with the Lord by your side. Super important. And yes, I have a cat. It loves to make appearances all the time. And Isaiah 41:13. Don't be afraid. I am here to help. And the third one, Romans 12:1. Give your bodies to God because of all that he does for you. The Bible is just full of so many things on how God is here to help and how God designed our body that we can do this fast. On the physical side, my husband and myself have been incredibly wowed. Things that we noticed right away: better digestion, better sleep, and decreased inflammation. What really surprised me was after the end of 7 days, my husband, who's not a really big guy, lost 10 pounds. I lost 5 pounds. Most of that was within the first few days. Usually I would maybe, even trying to lose weight, it would be 3 pounds. If I'm lucky, and that was over the course of a week. So I was shocked. I thought, wow, that's a lot of water weight. I wonder if it's going to stay off. And it has so far, and it even got better. Other things that really were noticeable is my husband's blood sugar has been the best it's been in a good decade. And my wedding ring got loose. I was exercising and it was sliding back and forth. I'm wow, that was really incredible. At the end of 21 days, my husband had lost a total of 15 pounds, went down, I think, 2 pant sizes, which that's not fair. But this dramatic health change in just 21 days showed me that eating way too many processed foods. Here I thought we were eating a pretty good diet. I mean, I'm a dietitian, so I always have fruits and vegetables. We have them for most every meal. well, maybe not the vegetables. We don't have those for breakfast, but we eat pretty healthy. But this is the first time in my entire life that I focused solely on whole foods, fruits and vegetables, a lot of beans and legumes, and whole grains. Our bodies definitely felt lighter and cleaner. I have to say, this diet really is not about deprivation. Yes, it's a change, but wow, it was so fun to see the bounty of what the Lord has provided here for us. Truly, there is so many different varieties of food. Helpful to be doing the fast in the late summer and into the fall where the harvest season is happening, because there's so much more and it's a lot cheaper. But this diet wasn't boring. The biggest aha for me, and actually for my husband, he said it too, is the lack of legumes in our diet. I mean, we all love beans in our house and we would eat them, but I guess not that often. Maybe like once or twice a month. But on the Daniel fast, I intentionally serve beans or legumes for lunch and for dinner. So I only once opened a can of beans. Otherwise, I made the dried beans, cooked them in the Instapots, and then I had enough for probably 5 meals out of 1 pound of the beans. God kept us so full and satisfied. And what I had really sensed from the Lord is that the legumes and the beans are cornerstone to health and wellness, and what us as our family and us as really Americans have gone away from eating a lot of legumes. In fact, I went to a grocery store because I needed to get a bag of garbanzo beans. The grocery store did not have any bags of garbanzo beans. They had cans, but no bags. I'm like, oh, what? People have gotten away from making their own beans. So that was just a little telltale sign that at least in our area, we need to eat more beans. I truly, truly think that eating the beans and legumes were a huge factor into why we had incredible weight loss. And the fact that we were full and satisfied, except for that first week after every meal. So I really did, again, try to have 2 beans or legumes for every meal, for every lunch and dinner. And there's such a wide variety of them. So that was fun. You made it this far, you might be saying, okay, what on earth am I supposed to avoid on the Daniel diet? The big things are to avoid animal foods or products. So that means no dairy and no eggs, and of course, no animal meat of any kind. The hardest part for us, I think, was not having some milk in the coffee, which you're not supposed to have coffee either. No foods that are supposed to be addictive in your diet. So that was the really hard thing for us to avoid. No processed foods, and also no wine. Now, the processed foods, everyone has their own interpretation. I really, really tried hard to not have any processed foods. Like I said, I only opened 1 can of beans. I did open a couple cans of some tomato products to help, because at that time it was just more expensive and the tomatoes were not really available at that moment that we started the fast. I know that's extreme, but you don't have to do it. But it showed me how much fresher the food tasted when I was making it from scratch. One other thing that I did, I made all of my own dressing. So I didn't buy any of these super expensive paleo-friendly, vegan-friendly dressings. I made my own. Super simple. Used apple cider vinegar, some olive oil, added some spices, lemon juice or lime juice, and some fresh herbs. Whipped it up in less than 5 minutes. So flavorful. It lasted for a couple days, and I'm going to be doing that from now on because it's a whole lot cheaper than the bottle dressings in my grocery store. So between Annette Reader's Daniel Fast book and also going to Pinterest and finding some vegan recipes, we had a wide variety in our diets. Some things that we really loved were kale chips. I am not a kale person. I still don't love kale. But we were gifted a lot of kale, so I made kale chips. Super easy, just putting in the oven, a little olive oil, a little salt. Good to go. Black bean burgers, 3 bean chili, and again, the muesli oats for breakfast. Here's some 5 practical tips. 1, again, don't give up. Those first few days are going to be hard, especially if you haven't been eating clean up until this point. Don't give up. Like I said, your gut is working on healing. So after 3 to 5 days, the cravings are going to subside. And use that Those first days, if you are having cravings, rely on the Lord. Sit and read the Bible longer, pray longer, go for a walk, get away from the kitchen. It really does help. Snacking. It is not recommended that you are going to snack. You're going to want to have 3 meals a day. And one that helps your blood sugar not to have so many spikes. I really believe that was helpful in our weight loss and our overall health journey. But if you do need snacks, make sure that you have some nuts. I mean, Costco, Sam's Club, wherever you get your nuts from, really helpful if you need something to help you get through, or a fresh fruit. But hopefully after 3 to 5 days that you're not going to need any snacking because your body has reset and is getting used to eating full and healthful foods. Flavor. Don't be afraid of adding flavor. Many people I have heard like to do the Daniel fast and just have no fun and flavor. That's fine. If that's where the Lord is leading you to, by all means, listen to what the Lord is saying. I did not feel led that way. I added flavor. And flavor came from herbs. Fresh herbs. I mean, I grow herbs in our house year round. Right now, it's still the end of fall, so we have some herbs outside. I had a lot of different herbs, maybe like 3 or 4 fresh herbs, used dried herbs, and we used a ton of vinegar. Apple cider vinegar was definitely number 1 on our list, but we used balsamic vinegar. And having that pop of flavor just took the meal to a whole new level. Okay, I said it before. Thinking about doing a fast. Do it now. Here we are in fall time. Fruits and vegetables are plentiful. The price is low. For us, our food budget went down, so we weren't going out to eat at all. We weren't going out to get any coffee. That was the best time. I don't even know if I want to do it in January because it's going to be so expensive. We've already talked about doing this every single August, September timeframe because it's going to be flavorful and the cost is going to be low. And number 5, stay hydrated. Water is so important and so key. If you're not a water person, add some lemon or some lime to it to give it that pop of flavor. But don't go to the processed canned foods. Don't even go to bubbling canned water. Try to stick with regular water. That is the most hydrating for your body. I want to stress this. At the Daniel fast is not about legalism. It is about listening to the Lord. There's great tools and tips and techniques out there on how to do this fast successfully. And I'll be doing some videos on some food that we use, that we love to help you out. I encourage you, look at your calendar. Set a date right now. Maybe it's 2 days from now. You can do it. God is with you. He is for you. He will help you through. And I know that you will see amazing results, both physically and spiritually. So if you could, please like this video, leave a comment, let me know how your fasting journey has gone. I would love to add some tips into my life in the future. God bless.